All right, hello and welcome to the Global Podcast. My name is Fields of Blue, and we are here to talk a little bit about what's going on in the world of global conflict. A battlefield community playing on PC where we have weekly organized battles. You can go ahead and visit us at global-conflict.org to know more about what we do. And today we have, let's see, Shrapnel.
Good evening.
We have Rob Willis.
Hi guys, I'm Colonel the Allied Forces and your friendly neighborhood web developer.
And the Lord Harris.
And on that note, we have Gwinzer.
Hello there.
We have Stony.
Hi there.
We have Insanity Rocks.
Hey everyone, this is Sandy Rocks, a new officer in the Allied Forces.
We also have Bach, I think.
Hey guys, this is Bach, captain of the Mechanized Division of the USSR.
We have Undertow isn't here, so I'll go right to Frosty then.
Hey everyone, I'm just a new member to GC and playing for the USSR.
Cool. So today was the 9th of November. We just had our first scrimmage day, and we're just going to talk about a couple things about what's going on in GC. First of all, the timeline until the actual campaign starts, which is last time I heard, still kind of up in the air. I don't really want to make an official word about it right now, but it sounds like we might be delaying it a little bit. Mostly because of some of the things that we saw with the server today. So there's a possibility that's going to go on beyond the Thanksgiving holiday. But speaking about that, we will be taking off the actual Thanksgiving weekend upcoming from our main battle day / scrimmages. That will be either a fun day or some type of other organized event for the weekend. But talking about, on that point of the Thanksgiving holiday and possibly pushing things back to after that for starting the campaign, the reason that I stated was the servers really were kind of clunky today, and I just want to get some feedback from you guys. I mean, how did you think a lot of it really went down today?
Yeah, well, I'll speak first. The US server today, I think, performed for the people in Europe extremely well. There wasn't too much in the terms of stability issues. It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't horrible. But given its location in Sweden, it really was hurting our guys in the West Coast, USA and beyond. It's definitely have to move to a slightly more Central European location in order to get a better result for our Western Americans.
I was very disappointed at the end of our battle day that we did not manage to get the round started on the EU server.
Yeah, there was a lot of trouble with that, and that was kind of surprising because the EU server was working pretty well for the first half of the day, and then it seems like we just kind of hit a brick wall there at that last map and we couldn't even get it started.
Well, no, I mean, you had a first server crash in the first round, I believe, the first day actually. And you also then had to actually get the final map going.
Yeah.
I mean, for those who aren't attuned to the Battlefield community, there has been possibly a rumour from messages from one of the DICE developers saying that the EA will rush the game out to beat Call of Duty. Whether that's confirmed or not, you can speak for yourself right now, but I think for the next coming weeks we're going to see, currently we're on R7 release of the server, we're probably going to see that go up to R10, if not R12, before we see anything stable to play. It's a bit of a shame, but
it really is a shame. I'm hoping that we see things improve quickly, but as a message to EA DICE, please get this all sorted out for us, at least work on it, because we are dying without stability that we need.
And I'm sure we're not the only community that's really desiring that.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, Stony.
And the ability to use all the tools.
Yeah. Which I didn't even know about. Shrapnel, could you elaborate a bit on that?
Currently, commander mode is unusable if the server is unranked or password protect, or is unranked, sorry, which prevents us from being able to use all unlocks and commander mode at the same time. Which is really difficult for a community like ours because we want it to be a level playing field where everybody has the chance to use the same weapons regardless of how much time they actually have to play during the week. And but at the same time, we really were looking forward to being able to use commander mode, and to not be able to use it so that we can have that level playing field is not a good thing for us.
I also must say most people don't know me because I was absent in the Battlefield 3 campaigns, because when the commander mode disappeared, the likability for Battlefields went away for me, and Battlefield 4 with commander mode made me bring back come back to global conflict. So I really hope they fix that issue, because I did today a round of FCing without it, and I really want those tools.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just so difficult. I can't believe that a whole feature of the game is just disabled when you have that specific setting. And I heard that also the battle pack unlocks are just, you can't even have them if you have the server unranked as well.
That is true, but fortunately, the majority of the battle pack unlocks are mainly cosmetic changes. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you've got functional equivalents as part of the standard unlock tree. So it's not too big of a loss to not have the battle pack and battle pack stuff.
It's not
Yeah.
too big of a loss, but it's still pretty silly that you can't unlock everything when you have your server set to all unlocks.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
That's true, yeah.
I'm sure it's something we'll figure out. Hopefully, DA will fix. If not, we'll find a workaround for it. I say Commander Mode for being an FC today is something that we all want back on.
Absolutely. I was dying just to see how that would fit into our community. That was one of the hugest selling points for the new game. Has anyone pubbed with it? I haven't even bought the game yet, so I just want to know, like, does it live up to the hype that I've been hearing?
I did pop with it, and to be honest, the interface, the user interface from Battlefield 2 was, in my opinion, much easier, better. I miss to be able to set waypoints for my squads, so I can divert them to a certain area of the flag to avoid enemies, for example. The assets you get, like the gunship and the missile, they are not that very well and effective as, for example, in Battlefield 2, where you had artillery.
Not really too excited about the way they decided to implement game. I think tying the assets to certain flags is just kind of setting up for one-sided matches where the team that's already winning extra assets. That just doesn't really make any sense to me. I think it would be cool if they brought back, you know, like the artillery from BF2. So if you're tired of getting artillery, you could just send somebody back to go blow up the enemy artillery, that sort of thing.
So I could send somebody back in to repair it for me.
I think I felt that Battlefield 3 was a beta for Battlefield 4. I think it's just come out. God, hope Battlefield 5 will just have artillery and stationary assets you can blow up again. Battlefield 4 is a beta for Battlefield 5 now.
Yeah, but kudos to EA and DICE to put the commander spots separate from the playing field, so you could have an extra soldier on the field.
Yeah.
I also got to pub a little bit in commander mode, and I'm glad to see it return. But the main thing that I saw was not regards to assets, but just the how difficult it is for the commander to communicate with the in-game squads. In the BF2 one, you could easily, mark a tank or a particular area, like Sony was saying, as a high interest area or where you want your squads to be, and you can kind of set a waypoint, but the method of doing it is really clumsy in the BF4 commander. And it's not nearly as simple. And you could also spot from the commander position in BF2, and they've completely removed that in BF4.
That's interesting. I hadn't played BF2 at all, so I have really no experience with that. But the first thing that comes to mind for me is the commanding role in Natural Selection 2, where it's basically like an RTS, but you're commanding actual players. And what I do like about that is that you can just select players as if you were just selecting AI units in a game like StarCraft and just right-click and tell them exactly where they need to go.
Yeah, and to me, it seems like they really implemented it more as a time management game for a iPad or something, instead of a actual functional piece of Battlefield 4. Because you spend half your time just trying to click on slides and click on squads and then promote, a quick reinforce, instead of where the commander should be communicating and directing the flow of the battle.
Almost like a click spamming game like Farmville.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I sure hope they can enable it soon, but let's see, the next topic that we were going to talk about the spectating/casting mode. Now, I have been I guess my opinion is kind of an unpopular one, but I'm very much for kind of locking down our spectating casting mode and restricting it a bit. But I gotta admit, when I saw some of the footage that Xpandas was casting today in the spectator slot, I was really impressed with it. It was a lot of fun to watch. even though it was only for a few minutes between the server crashing on us. Did anyone else get a chance to check that out and see some of the clips from it?
Yeah, I saw it when I was in the waiting room. Looks good, nice.
I think it was just really interesting being able to see from kind of a top-down perspective with markers on the map and in the 3D spotting, just seeing, where the allocation of units were. You could really quickly tell what assets were at what flags and how everything was working together to make up the entire army and how they were shifting. It was really, really cool. So I hope we can see a lot more of that in the future. And I'm really warming up to the idea of using it a lot more. Of course, we'll have to see who's going to actually be doing the streaming. It might even be me at some point if I buy the game, which I probably will pretty soon.
I heard some people I played with actually that they were streaming their point of view on their own streams. So
is the well, I know we have a master, like a mega thread with with everyone who streams basically signed up to it. I didn't see any of those though today. I might have missed some of them because I would have liked to watch while everyone was playing, but that's okay. Maybe another time.
I believe the Yonder from Allied Forces was recording. I'm not sure if he was streaming.
Well, hopefully he can upload it. I'd love to see it.
I think we also had Snook Fingers for USSR was streaming at some point today.
Yeah. Let's see.
If I may, the spectating and casting, I think the plan is to have a regular rotation that will stream and cast on the Global Conflict Twitch channel. But like Stony mentioned, we're going to have a few folks that are going to just stream on their own channel, and we'll have Twitter hooked up so that if you're following GC_ORG, our Twitter account, you'll be able to see the links for the streams.
Yeah, that Twitter hookup is really useful because every time it goes live, I get a tweet immediately and I can go right to it and start watching. So make sure you guys out there go and follow it because it's pretty useful. Do you want to talk about weapon balance? What do you guys think are some of the really good guns in the game right now? Or what have you been using personally?
AEK.
AEK?
AEK. One of the most powerful assault rifles again in the game. Stupidly quick.
Yeah. And that was a favorite in BF3 as well. I wonder if it's going to dominate the competitive games as much this time.
I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
I have to be honest, it was maybe on the first round of Parasol Storm where I realized, wait a minute, I have all the unlocks available to me. So I've been using all my stock weapons and perks and such until like the very last end of the day.
Well, did you get to try out anything that really impressed you in Sanity or struck you as different or good?
Well, actually, I tried the AEK, and it didn't seem. I mean, it seemed pretty good.
So basically, I'm hearing from you guys that as a support player, I'm screwed.
No, I mean you have access to the carbines, which are they can stand toe to toe against the assault rifles pretty well, I think.
Yeah.
And the saw.
The Saw. Isn't that a single player campaign unlock?
Yeah, you complete all 3 endings and you unlock the saw for multiplayer. And it's actually the way that I have been getting through the support kit because that 200 round mag and high rate of fire, so nice.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to playing the single player campaign. I don't know if I can even force myself to do it just for that.
I can't either. My gun I played with my Type 88, which I also used in ranked. Very happy with that. With the absence of the commander mode, I used the MAV today, which is pretty neat. You got a pretty good view of the battlefield, and you can spot. I'm blessed with 2 screens, so I have the battlefield on one screen and my game on the other.
Yeah, that's how we used to do in BF3, and yeah, it was an okay system. But on the point of 2 screens, has anyone been using Battle Screen at all? Because I remember during the beta, I kept trying to use it, and it just didn't do anything for me.
Yeah,
I was using Battle Screen during my FCing on the set Operation Locker today. It was very, very useful given I was spending half my time loading into the game or having just recently crashed, so I could still FC. And it is an incredibly useful tool if you have a second monitor. Basically, the ability to see where all your army is and also play at the same time, where beforehand your full attention was basically on the map as an FC and you couldn't do anything while FCing. It's nice to have that as a feature.
And I guess it works as sort of like a workaround for the annoying crash issues that we've been having so much.
Yeah, it'll be much better once we can, when commander mode is working, so we can look at it from a tablet as well, which is hopefully a lot less likely to crash in the game.
Can you not load up the Battlelog plugin in a tablet and watch it from there as well?
It's unfortunately not available from me moment, but I don't know how it would work with other people's devices.
Oh, is that because you have an iPad or something?
No, I've got the Amazon Kindle Fire, and despite being Android, it's not hooked up to the standard Android app store. So,
Right.
gotta wait for all the right apps and plugins and stuff to come out for my device first.
I might have to give that a try on my Surface Pro because that would actually be able to run the full game, so I could probably just install a regular plugin.
I think it's actually harder because you have for the Surface because you have to install the game.
Yeah,
command mode.
that's one thing I don't like about it. I wish it would make. See, I thought when I was reading about it initially, I thought it would be just a Battlelog thing where you could just
Yeah.
launch Battlelog. Yeah, and
Yeah,
that
like
seems
it
so
was
simple.
implied it was from a web page basically.
Exactly, and the fact that I understand that it's like a full Windows 8 thing, but I don't want to use up 26 gigabytes of the space just for the game, just to be able to do commander mode on it. It'd be nice if they could give me a Windows 8 app, but it's not a very popular platform, unfortunately. So let's see. Do we have any other feedback anyone wants to talk about for the scrim?
Yeah, we had some pretty good rounds. I think Operation Locker that we played today. Both rounds were very, very back and forth, and it was pretty fun. At least on the Rusky side.
I had a lot of fun on the Paracel map. A lot of changing strats mid-round, and it seemed like the where the battle was happening always changed. Maybe a little more focus up on Alpha Bravo, but it also seemed to swap where it was, which was a lot of fun. It kept you on your toes and kept moving around.
Oh, I'm looking forward to see how Paracel works further down the campaign once we really get into this game. It's such a unique map for Battlefield with massive focus on naval assets, and I don't think that's something that the series has seen in a long time.
Is Partial Storm the one with the map, the Levolution where the boat crashes into the island?
Yes.
It is, yeah.
Did we have any of that happening today? I didn't get to see if it was in a stream or anything.
Yeah, I think it's not really a Levolution. It's just the timed portion of the map where the typhoon hits and then the boat crashes.
I thought it happened as the.
I don't think there's actually a trigger.
There is
I
a trigger
thought it
actually.
happened
You have
as the
to
wind farm with
destroy the
things.
wind turbine,
Oh,
and
okay.
that releases the boat. So the storm is
Oh.
timed, but the boat crashing isn't.
What I will
I see.
say though, we haven't actually got any guys here. I would love to talk to some of the Air Force guys and see how they're feeling about it, especially after the first map.
I don't think we'll talk strategies here.
Yeah.
But I had an awesome time in the chopper. And also the first map, Gulmut Railway, which I FC'd. I was very surprised by how fast the opponent kept the train at the initial start. And I was even more surprised when we managed to get the bleed back.
Cool. I'm looking forward to also that one map where there's a large dam that can break and then lets a big flood of water in. That looks like it'll be really interesting for GC, considering how dynamic it makes the whole playing field throughout the battle.
You will see that next week. We'll be playing that, I think, second map.
Yes, that'll be the second map next week.
So if you're listening in and you missed today's awesome battle day, make sure you be there next week.
Definitely. Sounds like there's a lot to look forward to.
I'm kind of looking forward to playing Operation Locker again, without so many server crashes and client crashes. Because I was kind of expecting another Metro meat grinder, and there's definitely some choke points on that map, but we had a lot of flanking going on, so it'd be interesting to see if that happens again when both sides are better organized.
Oh, I mean, despite the obvious choke points, you can easily get through them with your own bit of organization and just being able all those different routes. It's why I'm looking forward to the Metro release for BR4, which they've announced. already we've seen that there's a lot more corridors and stuff they're adding to the map, so it's not going to be so much of a meat grinder. And yes, it'll be extremely heavy close quarters infantry play, but at least it's not strategyless.
I think that makes the map awesome. That it has so many routes, and yeah, it's very difficult to keep them all closed.
It's funny how absolutely on the other side of the spectrum that my idea of a really good map is, because I liked BF3 Metro a lot. Like, that was easily my most played map. Maybe tied with some of the Conquest, or some of the Conquest Domination ones from Close Quarters, because I just love that infantry combat so much. I think it'll be a lot better in BF4, though, if what you're saying is, true, obviously. Operation Locker looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, too, and I mean, I have yet to even play the game, so my opinion's almost null anyways.
Do we know what maps from BF3 they're bringing back? I mean, besides Metro?
Caspian, Firestorm, and another one.
Gulf of Oman.
Oman. And we'll no doubt see Wake Island at some point as well, given it's a Battlefield game.
What about Karklands? Do we have that on the slate?
Karkand.
Karklands?
Karkand? No L.
Karkland.
Surely you will have the Karklands.
Must. You gotta have it. It's fan favorite.
I really
Well,
like that in BF3.
I'm not too sure if they will bring that back, because it wasn't as popular in BF3 as it was in BF2. And even for 2142, it took the last patch and community effort in order to get that map in.
Well, I know that I really liked it in BF3 because it didn't have jets and helicopters in it, and I really don't like those vehicles. Just gonna say it, I'm biased. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I guess that does it for this week. I'd like to thank all my guests, Shrapnel, Rob, Gwinzer, Stony, Insanity, Bach, Undertow, and Frosty, as well as Mr. Blue for being our wonderful host and recording for us and doing our editing behind the scenes. Again, we are Global Conflict. Please check out global-conflict.org to find out more about what we do. And if you played Battlefield 4 on PC, make sure to sign up and join us. Before finishing, we just want to say thank you, or we just want to congratulate our friend who's getting married today. On 3, guys. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations! Woo!
Yeah.
That does it for us. Thank you for listening, and see you next week.